So you want to create a World War II B-17 Combat box. Not very difficult. Create yourself first a group. You want to have B-17G, and name this group B-17 Lead. I'm going to have an armament, make sure they have a payload. In this case I've given them 12 bombs. Increase the number up to 4 aircraft. Let's set their altitude somewhere, so 20,000 at 200 knots. Next, I'm going to add them a waypoint about there. Select the very first waypoint. And now we're going to add what makes the combat box work. So first, formation. We need them to perform a task. We need them to be in a World War II big formation. We don't need a group because this is the lead group. We need the position in wing to be leader, group leader, and box leader. Simple. Now to make the aircraft actually perform as a formation, we need to add the option of formation, type, World War II, bomber element. And I'm going to choose the close variant. So the first one, this one controls the group of aircraft as one unit. This allows multiple units to act as one. This one is what puts the aircraft in formation. This is where it gets less intuitive, because you'd think big formation would cover it all. It doesn't. Next, bring another group of B-17s in. B-17. Make sure they have a payload. 12 bombs. 4 aircraft. Make sure their altitude and speed is the same as the lead group if you want them to start together. If not, they need to be at similar speeds and waypoints. Sorry, at similar speeds and altitude when they meet at the waypoint to merge. If you want them to start in formation, you add the settings here on the initial waypoint. If not, you add it on the later waypoint when you want them to join. Again, make sure they're close to each other so they don't spend ages forming up. So, we've got our second group here. I want to add the option of formation. I'm going to tell them to be a bomber element, close formation, and then we can add the second one, which is perform task, World War II big formation, and this is where it changes. We need to be B-17 lead, so you see they've now got a line drawn to the lead flight. They will now follow all instructions provided to that flight. So in this situation they'll fly with him all the way to waypoint 1. At which point they will break off because of the last waypoint here. I'm not going to use that, but you can use that to separate a formation. For example, after the bombing is done, you can have them break off at the waypoint, and then they'll start following their own waypoints again. So you can have them land at their own airfield. Next, I want to make sure we're in position. So currently they're in the right wing, and the right group, and the right position in that box. We don't want that. We want them in the leader wing, the leader group, and we want them in left, right, or back position relative to the original lead flight here. To speed things up, I'm just going to copy and paste the aircraft. Edit, and they'll be on the left. Paste. And finally, back. So now the aircraft will act as one in one big clump. Next, you probably want them to bomb something. So we take this will be their initial point for the bombing run. So put them roughly in the direction you want them to travel from to the target. So I'm going to put them here, add the waypoint action of World War II carpet bombing. Going to ask them to use bombs, release quantity all, and now move this triangle over the airfield, and they will bomb that airfield as an entire group when they reach waypoint 1. Again, make sure you're editing the lead group, because they're the ones that will be directing the other aircraft. So, the flight will fly to waypoint 1, they'll initiate their bombing run, and they will drop bombs on the airfield. Next, I'm going to give them a few more waypoints to fly out with, so they'll fly off home in that direction. If you wanted at this point, you could have the aircraft separate. You do that by saying this is waypoint 6. Here's one element you want them to separate. You go to the big formation settings, and it says last waypoint. So in this case, I want to select waypoint, there we go, waypoint 6. And then if I give them waypoints from this waypoint onwards, so this will be in their case the very first waypoint after their initial waypoint, they will then start following that waypoint. So I could add a waypoint here. So now this flight will follow the bomber group round to waypoint 6, and then they will break off and fly here, and then I could say have them land here. Simple enough. So here we have our formation. So they're all in a nice little box. So we've got our lead group, These guys are the ones giving the orders, and then you've got left, right and rear groups as set in the editor. Remember, they will split off when they reach the last waypoint as set in the options, but otherwise they will follow their lead flight. This includes bombing actions, although only responding to World War II carpet bombing. If you give them an ordinary bombing order, only the first group will drop bombs. If you forget to set the formation in the options, you'll see them in an echelon left or right, depending on their positioning. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So it's entirely possible to place aircraft in the same position, and when they do, well, they try to occupy the same space.